Good morning, everyone. We are the Group 4 and I am Samantha Agnebalisa, the first presenter of this topic entitled The Learning Theories and Principle of Dale's Cone of Experience. But before we tackle the cone of experience, let me present first the general objectives of our topic. So first is identify learning principles and theories that are applied in technology-driven teaching learning models. Second, use the learning principles and theories as basis in the development of the teaching plans and selection of instructional materials. And third, identify how a technology tool is integrated in a lesson. And fourth, evaluate a sample lesson with the technology integration and suggested how it can be enhanced. Let me introduce first who is Edgar Dale. Edgar Dale is the father of modern media and education. Did you know that Edgar Dale was born on April 27, 1900 in Benson, Minnesota and died on March 8, 1985. He served on the Ohio State University faculty from 1929 until 1970. He was the internationally renowned pioneer in the utilization in instruction. And lastly, he is an American educator who developed the cone of experience. So let's proceed to the Edgar Dale's cone of experience and what to expect with this topic. Now first, familiarize with Dale's cone of experience and provide classroom processes or practices and exemplify each strata. Define the 8 M's of teaching and provide examples of the various instructional materials appropriate for given instructional context. So let me first explain this quote by Confucius. I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. This Confucian scholar makes a strong point that when it comes to learning, hearing is not as good as seeing. And seeing is not as good as experience. And true learning is only evident when experience produces an action. When it comes in classroom setting, it is best to let the learners do the specific task based on the lesson in order for them to understand the topics vividly rather than only discussing and showing them some example which they will only remember and not too deeply understand the topics. Which this quote, it holds true with the saying that experience is the best teacher. Therefore, let the learners experience like doing an experiment so that they will be getting involved and understand what they are doing. The cone of experience. The cone is a visual analogy, and like all analogies, it does not bear an exact and detailed relationship to the complex elements it represents. By Edgar Dale, 8 M's of Teaching. These are the 8 M's of Teaching by Edgar Dale. Number 1, milieu, the learning environment. Number 2, matter, the content of learning. Number 3, method, teaching and learning activities. Number 4, material, the resources of learning. Number 5, media, communication system. Number 6, motivation, arousing and sustaining interest in learning. Number 7, mastery, internalization of learning. Number 8, measurement, evidence that learning took place. These 8 M's of teaching, when we preparing to become an effective teacher, we must consider these 8 M's of teaching. These 8 M's of instruction has one element which is media, another is material. These 2 M's are actually the elements of the cone of experience. Edgar Dale's cone of experience relate well the various instructional media which form part of the system's approach to instruction. This is the cone of experience first introduced in Dale's 1946 book, which is the audiovisual methods in teaching. It is a visual model that is composed of 11 stages. Starting from the concrete experiences at the bottom of the cone, and it becomes more and more abstract, and it reaches the peak of the cone. The cone of experience is a pictorial device used to explain the interrelationship of the various types of audiovisual media, as well as their individual position in the learning process. According to 𝐷𝑎𝑙𝑒, the arrangement in the cone is not based on each difficulty but rather based on abstraction and on the number of senses involved. The experiences in each stages can be mixed and are interrelated that fosters more meaningful learning. When we talk about the concrete experiences, purposeful experience that is seen, handled, taste, touch, felt, and smelled. It means that it allows us to use all senses. When we talk about abstract, which is located at the peak of the cone, verbal symbols and messages are highly abstract. They do not have a physical resemblance to the objects or ideas. It means that it involves only in hearing. Passive and active learning. The top half of the cone, we call it passive learning, which is made up of all the ways a student learns passively. This include reading, hearing words, looking at pictures, watching a movie, looking at an exhibit, and watching demonstration. The students are not active players in their learning. They are like a sponge soaking up all of the knowledge. The bottom half of the cone of learning is known as active learning. This is participating in a discussion, giving a talk, doing a presentation, simulating the real experience through your senses, doing the real thing. In all of these examples, students are active learners. They are the ones responsible for getting their information. Children use this method particularly when they are young through sensory integration, which means using their senses to learn. The teacher can provide them with helps and stepping stones, but they are learning firsthand. Integrated Brunner's in 1966 the three modes of learning into the cone by categorizing learning experiences into the three modes, and this was the enactive, iconic, and symbolic. When we say enactive or the direct experiences, it is a series of actions. This was the direct, purposeful, contrived, and dramatized. When we say iconic or the pictorial experiences, a series of illustration or icons. This was the demonstration, field trips, exhibit, motion, pictures and recordings, audios, and photos. When we say symbolic or the highly abstract experiences, a series of symbols, and this was the visual and the verbal symbol. So let's hear Elmer Basan Cornejo Reyes, a BE Ed student, to tackle the bands in the cone of experience.
I'm Elmer Reyes of BE Ed 1A. The bands in 𝐷𝑎𝑙𝑒'𝑠 cone of experience is a visual that composed of 11 stages. Direct purposeful experience. This refers to foundation of experiencing learning using the sense, meaning, knowledge, and understanding are established. These are our concrete and first-hand experience that make up the foundation of our learning. And these are the rich experience that our sense bring, from which we construct the ideas, the concept, the generalization that give meaning and order to our lives. Contrived experience. It is in this category that representations such as models, miniatures, or mock-ups are used. This is edited version of direct experience designed to simulate to real-life situation. Model is a representation of a real thing in a small scale, large scale, or exact size but made of synthetic materials. Mock-ups, an arrangement of a real device or associated devices in such way that representation of reality is created. dramatized experiences. These are commonly used as activities that allow students to actively participate in a reconstructed experience through role-playing and dramatization. This should use an effective teaching method, and some example of dramatized experience is formal plays, pageants, and role-playing. Demonstration. A demonstration is the most appropriate experience. It is an actual execution of procedure or a process. Demonstration may or may not include an element of participation. In some learning situations, seeing how to do something of little value without trying it oneself. Either the demonstration alone is enough or hand-on activity is logistically unfeasible. Study trips. These are actual visits to certain location to observe a situation or a case which may not be available inside the classroom. This is observe an event that is unavailable in classroom. For example, is field study. Exhibits. These are displays of models such as pictures, artifacts, posters, among others that can provide the message or information. These are displays to be seen by spectators, and this may consist of working models, charts, and posters. Television and motion pictures. This technology equipment provides a two-dimensional reconstruction of a reality. This allows learners to experience the situation being communicated through the mediated tools. This can bring immediate interaction and it can reconstruct the reality of the past so effectively that we are made to feel we are there. The unique value of the message communicated by film and television lies in their feeling or realism. Their emphasis on persons of personality, their organized presentation, and their ability to select, dramatize, highlight, and clarify. Still pictures, recordings, radio. Together in this category are the audio recorded materials or information broadcast through the radio. This is helpful to students who cannot deal with motion or pace of a real event or televisions. These are visual or auditory devices which may be used by individual or a group. For example, Time Live magazine, listening to old radio broadcasts, and listening to music. Visual symbols. These are more abstract representation of the concept or the information broadcast through the radio. This is no longer involves reproducing real situations, and it helps students see an idea, event, or process. Examples: chalkboard, plot maps, diagrams, and charts. Verbal symbols. This category appears to be the most abstract because they may not exactly look like the concept or object they represent, but are symbols, word codes, and formula. They are not like the objects or ideas for which they stand, and they usually do not contain visual clues to their meaning. Written words fall under this category. It may be a word of a concrete object, for example, is a book, what are the implications of the cone of experience in the teaching learning process. We do not use only one medium of communication in isolation. Rather, we use many instructional materials to help the learner conceptualize his/her experience. 2. We avoid teaching directly at the symbolic level of thought without adequate foundation of the concrete. Learners' concepts will lack deep roots in direct experience. 3. When teaching, we don't get stuck in the concrete. Let us strive to bring our students to the symbolic or abstract level to develop their higher order thinking skills. And that's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Princess Anne Mendoza from B&1A.
𝐷𝑎𝑙𝑒'𝑠 cone of experience is a tool to help instruction make decisions about activities. As you prepare to become a teacher, you can use the concept of 𝐷𝑎𝑙𝑒'𝑠 cone of experience and ask the following questions. Where will students' experience with this instructional resource fit on the cone? How far is it removed from real life? What kind of learning experience do you want to provide in the classroom? How does this instructional resource augment the information supplied by the textbook? What and how many senses can students use to learn the instructional material? Does the instructional material enhance learning? They can experience this when they learn something new, like our situation in pandemic education. They learn through the use of mobile phones, the ideas of the text that will be our education to gain more knowledge. But it will be better to explain by a teacher so they can ask and hear the teacher. They use the Facebook and message their students so they can teach their student in their next activity. The motion of the pictures were like museum, because by the pictures you can see the artifacts, but it's much better to explain and see it in the reality. The students will learn on how to operate the certain app like blogs so they can create a poems. Cone of experience can be effective in conventional technology and the innovative and emerging technology for teaching. Learners can become contributors, creators, communicators, and collaborators. Contributors. Learners can upload materials such as a video or an audio, post a message, submit an output in a Dropbox, or add documents and ebooks and add a picture or contribute to a digital world using a pop-up. Creators. Students can collate a digital portfolio, or commonly known as an e-portfolio, or create a virtual poster or an interactive resource. They can produce a digital story, edit the entries, and share. Communicators. Using technology tools, students can chat with peers, post a reply in a blog, and contribute a comment to the thread flow. Using a chat room or the web conference by Skype creates a new dynamic to what a learning place is. Collaborators. Capstone projects can be outputs of collaboration. Students can participate in posting ideas in a forum where there can be an asynchronous discussion. Using wikis to participate in group with the aim to accomplish a task or comment on blogs are a few ways on performing the role of a collaborator in a new idea of a learning place. The contributors, creators, communicators, collaborators are the learners, students who are doing the assigned role. There are many great ideas on how to integrate a technology tool for teaching the lessons. The teachers need technology so the students will learn better, and that tool such as mobile device, and they use an app to install, and that's what we call Padlet and blogs. Now, let's discuss about the Padlet. It is another tool that can be accessed online and suited for sharing information or content and can allow engagement of students. Although it can be used for business but with creativity, it can be appropriate for educational purposes. Blogs. One interesting tool to explore is the blog. It is a web page that you need to create and where you can write and post your ideas. These are updated on a regular basis, which can inspire or educate those who read it. It is an outline journal that allows you to share with the world what you think or feel. Quality of content is crucial in making your blog attractive to readers. Blogging provides benefits, and one of which is it allows you to improve your writing skills. Just in case you will start creating your own blog, explore WordPress. It is a blogging platform. The Padlet and Blogs is the app that they use to participate in activities so they can fulfill their assigned roles. Example situation. The students were using an app called Blog to create an activity in the blog, and that activity is to post a poem about anything, but it must be specially made by the students. The students will be the contributors of a poems that they post in the blog that will be read by the readers. They will be the creators because they were the one who made a poem and post it on the blog. They will be the communicators because they are the one who share their experience through a poem, and they will be the collaborators who use the app called Blog to create a poem by the said activity of a teacher to make their students more creative in organizing their ideas in a poem. Dale's Cone of Experience, 1946, theorized not only the importance of learning by doing, but the type or authenticity of the experience is important in learning outcomes, retention, and learner motivation. Immersive technology has advanced to the point that it is not only accessible but also user-friendly. However, research into the impact of immersive technology remains focused in K-12 settings with students as the consumers rather than creators of authentic experiences.
And that's end our video presentation, and thank you guys for watching our video, and I hope you've gained knowledge or information about